Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Renison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Today being the 25th of December, month 2024. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we would have come to you with a topic that I believe that many people would have overlooked. Many of us here would have not seen the need today to talk about what we are talking about, what we are about to talk about. There is a problem in Trinidad and Tobago in where missing person, the numbers are on the rise. And we would have seen a trend all over the world in which millions of people go missing on a daily basis. In some cases, per minute, two people every 2 hours. One person every 2 hours, one person every minute, a matter of fact. And the show today was entitled Gone But Not Forgotten, because there are many of you outside there that are hurting because that they are missing people outside there. And no accountability at all. So without further ado, I'm going to head right to the co-host, a matter of fact. The co-host at this point in time is going to lay an introduction, and we will go into the video because there are people that ought to take the responsibility for all these missing persons that are here and that are existing. But at the same time, where are they? And we just see them making all kind of flowery remark in the public domain. And we all left to wonder what's wrong with them. Anyway, we have Candace Edwards here on set. Candace.
Pleasant good night, everyone. I am Candace, and I'm here to talk about this topic. One was not for all those that would have lost their loved ones over the years, who would have vanished without a trace, not knowing what would have taken place with them. This topic for me is a very, very sad topic, right? Because it is so hard to know that, your loved one just disappeared without a trace. You don't know if they would have died, at least, you would have had closure. But to know that they just disappeared, they're gone without a trace, and not knowing if they're alive, it's something that, is a situation that can have you very, very, very uncomfortable, very nerve-wracking. So I would have done a little research, right? And let me read it out to you guys. The research said, as of now, Trinidad and Tobago has reported a total of 4,546 missing person cases from January 2018 to December 2022. Wow. Look how much people gone missing without a trace. And to think Trinidad is a small country. All these people gone missing without a trace. You don't know what take place with them, no sort of closure. And it go on by saying, currently, 595 individuals remain missing in 2023 alone. There were 673 reports of missing persons, with 424 found and 58 still unaccounted for. So the ones that were accounted for, where are they? What is this country? What is our government doing to bring closure to our missing loved ones? And that is a question I keep asking myself, right? Because I too would have fallen victim to that. I had a brother that was residing in Tobago, and this year make it 8 years, he vanished off the earth. And it has left me real sad because sometimes, you're walking on the street and you're hoping that one day you would bounce up that, that loved one. And I could imagine how some of these relatives feeling till up until this day, right? So it went on to say, most missing cases involve women and minors, particularly girls ages 15 to 19, who constitute about 52% of the reports. The police have a recovery rate of approximately 83% for missing persons. So all we have is just reports on how much people being, missing, and no closed cases. Where are these people? And this is the sad in my heart because sometimes you will hear on the news they arrest somebody for for kidnapping. And then they would see it for a couple of weeks. And as the old people would say, talk for 21 days, and that is it. But the person that they would have apprehended for the kidnappings, we, the public, would have wanted to get a follow-up as to what taking place with that matter, right? And that just died a natural death. And it continues, as Mr. Ransom would have said, is every day, 2 to 3 people going missing. And up to now, they have no leads. And I find that, they are not doing enough. It must have some follow-up as to, the most they would say, all right, last seen at this point, wearing a green jersey and a black pants. But I believe upon investigation, if they take this seriously, because not everybody would have, some young girls will run away to go with their little boyfriend and spend 2-3 days, and then they will see on Facebook, all right, they find them back. Right? But they ain't hearing nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing at all. And it's years this has been going on for, and it's about time it stopped. It's about time the Trinidad and Tobago government pay close attention to these cases. Because it's hard to know your loved one just gone missing, disappear off the face of the earth. Just like that. Right? There is one that sticks out to me now, all sticking out, eh? But this one, she is Ria Sukdeo. Missing since September 22 in 2026. A 34-year-old woman of Wellington Road, Debay, was kidnapped after dropping her kids to school. She was never found and still missing to this day. Right? And come on, nobody don't know nothing. Nobody, can leak information to say, well, all right, XYZ. How come, when they're going on their little drug bust and, the little shooting and the killing, they just get little leads? How come all these people going missing, they have no leads? No leads whatsoever. So this supposed to just die a natural death. Because it's the same thing that went on with my brother, right? Because when I got the information that he was missing, I left Trinidad and I went to Tobago. I went to the police. I spoke with them. I went to the house where he was living. I spoke with the common law wife he was living with. And mind you, all along, I was talking to the common law wife. And my brother was missing and she wasn't telling me a word, nothing. It's the people that at his workplace would have got in contact with us, informing us of what was taking place. You understand, man? What was taking place. And I would have gone to Tobago. I printed flyers, pictures, contact number, and it was of no use up until this day. Right? Up until this day. When I went to the station and I would have met with the common law wife, that woman pretending like she didn't even know me. That alone was an eye opener for me, because if this woman, who's supposed to be my sister-in-law, look me in the eye and tell me that she don't know me, that was enough lead for the police. And it's like they're not even trying. It's like you're gone and that's it. Open and shut case. And this kind of behavior, this kind of treatment from those in authority, it is leave your heart, it is leave you in pain. It is leaving a lot of pain, because up to now, I just study my brother, because his kids, he has 2 kids, and they just see it on their faces, so much less for the ones that would have missed their loved ones way back when. They're still living in pain and agony, wondering, what if? Where are they? If they're all right. That is a living nightmare, you know. It is a living nightmare. You'll have to look. My mother died not knowing where her son is. And you see, some people don't really take this serious because it never hit home. You see, when it hit home, you will understand what it is to lose a loved one, whether by violence, by being murdered or kidnapped. It has drenched your soul, because that's a part of you, that's your flesh, your blood, somebody you grow with, and up to now gone without a trace. Where are these people? Where are these people? Because with my brother, when they was doing the investigation, there was no trace where he would have left the island to go to another country. Nothing of the sort. His cell phone was at home, his bank card, his car, everything remained intact in the house, but just he alone was missing. And everybody turned a blind eye.
So everything.
One time.
So everything everything was missing, and not never come out of that, Candice?
Nothing never, up to this day, nothing never come out of it. So I could relate to all these people here, the grieving families. I can relate to them. It is not an easy thing to go through. It is not an easy thing, especially a mother. When you lose a child, you don't know what's going on with your child. And in this instance with Bia Sukhdev, she went to drop her children to school, you know. And on her way back, the incident took place and she just disappeared without a trace. No leads, no follow-up, no information leaking, nothing at all. So what are you trying to tell me? It have certain, that kind of treatment is for certain type of people. I just asking the question, you know.
Well, seeing that you talk about that aspect of it, Candice, you know, at this point in time, we're going and play a clip in which we would have picked up. You understand? There are people that say they're doing things for crime. There are people that say the fighting crime in Trinidad, and we want to know how you feel about that, or how the people feel about that. We are going to play a clip from, well, today, as of today, I hear he's not the Minister of National Security again. We then play a clip from him, and we will be right back.
Every day as members of the media are the victims of crime one way or the next, and in some cases we are perpetrators too, and all affected by crime in a very, very serious way. Crime being everybody's problem, and it goes without saying that it is generating a tremendous amount of trauma, a lot of fear, particularly the murders, which stands from the last look I had at some 332 for the year. And of course, yes, people are very traumatized by the murders and of course the crimes of home invasions and crime and lawlessness generally. I come to you here today knowing that if I do not speak to you, the country, there is some criticism about that. If I do speak, you will analyze every word that I say, every dot, every comma, every T, and there will be criticism about that. But my duty demands that I address the country on this matter from the perspective of the government. I have Mr. Benjamin here who will address us from the perspective of Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, one of, as I said, the premier agency in national security. The public has been saying in its way, one way or the next, do something about crime, do something, do something. So as a government, we keep a very open mind, very open ears, and we listen to the cries of the people. We listen to any suggestions that might come, and they are not in short supply in Trinidad and Tobago, because we do live in a land where everyone has an opinion, strongly sometimes, and express them one way or the next. We receive correspondence from people, we read the newspaper commentaries, we follow closely, and we hear this resounding cry, do something, do something. And of course, we do something. Sometimes the recommendations that come are so valuable that you examine them far more deeply, you implement them wherever you can. Very often they don't come novel or new. They resemble things that we are already largely familiar with. And of course, in some cases, you get outrageous suggestions, outrageous in the context of the Republican Constitution that we observe. For example, persons within recent weeks have directed my attention, months actually, directed my attention to what is happening in the state of El Salvador, for an example. Less education system for the nation's youth, from early childhood through primary, through secondary, and support people in tertiary level education. Up to yesterday, I addressed a situation where in my own constituency, a 20-year-old, having done successfully well through her academic years as a child, she won herself an open government scholarship, and she's now at the University of Dublin pursuing medical studies. And so we do. We have the MILAT programs. The Ministry of Youth Development is rolling out a plethora of youth development programs and talking. You know, we do. We pay the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Defense Force, including, of course, the reserves, the Coast Guard, the Regiment, and the Air Guard. We pay all of the elements in the customs, all of the elements in immigration, and the entire national security fraternity, all paid. We do something. We do. We have and we spend a lot of money maintaining the court system in Trinidad and Tobago, the judiciary as a separate arm of the state, it's doing its thing. We do something. We go to Parliament and we pass the laws that we believe will assist law enforcement. Many of us, people we know, people we report on every day as members of the media, are the victims of crime one way or the next. And in some cases, we are perpetrators too. And all affected by crime in a very, very serious way. Crime being everybody's problem. And it goes without saying that it is generating a tremendous amount of trauma, a lot of fear, particularly the murders, which stands from the last look I had at some 332 for the year. And of course, yes, people are very traumatized by the murders and of course the crimes of home invasions and crime and lawlessness generally. I come to you here today knowing that If I do not speak to you, the country, there is some criticism about that. If I do speak, you will analyze every word that I say, every dot, every comma, every T, and there will be criticism about that. But my duty demands that I address the country on this matter from the perspective of the government. I have Mr. Benjamin here who will address us from the perspective of Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, one of, as I said, the premier agency in national security. The public has been saying in its way, one way or the next, do something about crime, do something, do something. So as a government, we keep a very open mind, very open ears, and we listen to the cries of the people. We listen to any suggestions that might come, and they are not in short supply in Trinidad and Tobago, because we do live in a land where everyone has an opinion, strongly sometimes, and express them one way or the next. We receive correspondence from people, we read the newspaper commentaries, we follow closely, and we hear this resounding cry, do something, do something. And of course, we do something. Sometimes the recommendations that come are so valuable that you examine them far more deeply, you implement them wherever you can. Very often they don't come novel or new. They resemble things that we are already largely familiar with. And of course, in some cases, you get outrageous suggestions, outrageous in the context of the Republican Constitution that we observe. For example, persons within recent weeks have directed my attention, months actually, directed my attention to what is happening in the state of El Salvador, for an example. Less education system for the nation's youth, from early childhood through primary through secondary, and support people in tertiary level education. Up to yesterday, I addressed a situation where in my own constituency, a 20-year-old, having done successfully well through her academic years as a child, she won herself an open government scholarship, and she's now at the University of Dublin pursuing medical studies. And so we do. We have the MILAC programs. The Ministry of Youth Development is rolling out a plethora of youth development programs and talking, you know, we do. We pay the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, the Defense Force, including, of course, the reserves, the Coast Guard, the regiment, and the Air Guard. We pay all of the elements in the customs, all of the elements in immigration, and the entire national security fraternity, all paid. We do something. We do. We have, and we spend a lot of money maintaining the court system in Trinidad and Tobago, the judiciary as a separate arm of the state, it's doing its thing. We do something. We go to Parliament and we pass the laws that we believe will assist law enforcement.
Now, we would have just played something for you that is very instrumental. Now, hear the words of Fitzgerald Hines, a man who would have sworn an oath as to see to the safety of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And in all regards, we would have seen failure upon failure. Excuse amongst excuse. And every single day, the crime rate in Trinidad and Tobago goes up and is even in comparison to the rest of the world. But today we plan to stick to the issues that is before us. And here what is this issue. Here, what is this issue? The missing person list, the United States, just to give you a whole overview of the thing. People, 543,018 people go missing on a yearly basis. 800,000 children also is added to the list. In India, 88 per hour, equaling to 64,851. In the United Kingdom, 250,000 people, 1 every 2 minutes. In Germany, 70,000 people go missing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I say, we plan to stick to the issue today. We plan to stick to the issue because we would have told you that it is a problem here in Trinidad and Tobago, and like if somehow you just give the government a free pass again on the missing person list. The overall statistics in 2022, the International Organization of Migration, IOM, reported that at least 321 deaths and disappearance of migrants in the Caribbean, the highest since 2014. And all of this here is up on your screen so you could see and follow along. Most were from Haiti, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic, with drowning being the leading case, the leading cause of death due to dangerous migration route. Jamaica, from 2018 to 2022, Jamaica reported 8,326 missing persons, averaging 1,665 annually. I know you're saying that we don't have a problem yet. Trinidad and Tobago, between 2018 and 2023, 4,546 cases was reported, with 595 still missing. The majority of missing persons are women, particularly aged between the ages of 15 to 19. And this is what is going on here in Trinidad and Tobago. And what we are saying to you, the people, something like this cannot go on here in this country. We have a problem that needs to be addressed at this point in time. There are too much missing people. And what we are paying for here in this country, tell me, what type of governance that we are paying for when we are not safe within our country? Candace, you hearing the type of thing that is taking place here?
Yeah, well, I am listening, but what I'm saying is, my thing is this: where all these people go on, this shows that there's a serious kidnapping ring. And I want to believe this is no more. This is really it coming from the locals, But this has to be a high ring, a kidnapping, because where are these people? They're not turning up dead. Nobody in calling and asking for ransom. It's as though these people never existed. And the government I find, to be honest, I do not think my government is doing enough. With our taxpayers' money, we are paying the government with our hard-earned taxpayers' money to provide a service for us. And what service we getting? These people just go on, disappear off the grid without a trace, without a sight. No leads, nothing. Where these people vanish and gone to? And I'm hearing Mr. Fitzgerald Hines saying that we are saying that he is listening to our complaints, our cry. Listening how? Listening when? People crying out and they're turning a blind eye.
And the thing about it is this, he too brave to be coming within the public domain and just talking just so I don't know.
That is an insult.
It
People
is
crying out.
It is an insult.
People are crying out for their loved ones. And this, what they're doing really. Look at, take for instance, the shooting that takes place in Port of Spain at the hospital. Is when the I would say, well, the perpetrators or the bandits don't go into the hospital and commit the act and left. Then the police came on the scene. And judging the way how Port of Spain is today, we're supposed to have round-the-clock patrols.
Yeah.
So even if that act would have been taking place, they had time to drive in, go in, commit the act, and drive back out. Cool and comfortable. And after they escape, then the police come in. So then what is they really doing? What it is they really doing? As far as I see, this whole country...
That whole scenario that would have taken place there within the hospital, I mean, it would have shed light on a lot of things. There was a lot of weaknesses in where the security system is concerned right there in the hospital. Because as far as we're concerned, there is security officers there, but most of them posing. You see, that is the next thing, with these security officers. And the thing about it is this. I don't want to go in too much and blame the security fraternity. But there are mechanisms. You see, the hospital just do have security and private security. They are SWARA. They control and manage the operations there. I know how much, but I know when we would have had dialogue with people from in the San Fernando area, they would have reached out to us, and we had was to go to SWARA. We had was to talk to them and show them certain things concerning this. So there are management schemes, and it's showing that there are weaknesses where the security of certain people is, because when there are people coming into the hospital, people shoot them up and they come in there and the finishing of the work. And there were many instances that take place that only happened last, that one happened this year. But in the past,
it had quite a few. It had a few that would have taken place in the same hospital then.
And that is something that, you see, I don't want to go into that too much, because as I say, I plan to stick to the issue tonight, because this thing here, I mean, the global estimate is around 8 million children go missing each year worldwide, including various cases of adult and migrants. So we have it here where millions of people go missing on a yearly basis in the world, and that alluding to something. That alluding to something in which we here must take concern about. Exactly. Is it that it have a black market for organs? Is it that it have an illicit prostitution ring? Or is it the factor that people are trying to migrate, because we keep hearing migrants keep jumping up all over? Is it a factor that people, it have so much of poverty in one part of the world that people are risking it all to end up in another part? What really going on here? And it hitting home in Trinidad and Tobago as how this come a problem here in Trinidad. What taking place that is under the eye level of certain people. thousands of people going missing. Some turning up dead, and some you're just not seeing again. What going on here in Trinidad and Tobago, that is enough to highlight. That is enough. That thing is enough to highlight here. And before we switch to something else, here is what I want to go into here. As of December 2023, there were 595 people still missing in Trinidad and Tobago, following a total of 4,546 missing person reports filed since January 2018. Approximately 83% of these individuals have been located. However, 4% was found deceased. The majority of missing persons are women, particularly young women aged 15 to 19. The Northern Division have the highest number of reports, which is 922 cases. For assistance, family can report missing person immediately to the police and utilize resources like the Missing Persons Trinidad and Tobago database. And we have to ask ourselves, is these things are operating at its full capacity? That is what we have to ask ourselves. Are these things operating at its full capacity in Trinidad and Tobago? You tell me. All these people missing in Trinidad and Tobago, and we have a security minister, a minister of national security. Every time he come on the media, it's like if he's saying poetry. Every time he come here in the public domain, it's like if he's saying poetry. And like the man, like he have something with Gary Griffith, because every time he comes to respond to Gary Griffith within a particular way. What going on with these missing persons in Trinidad and Tobago? If what was said to you just now, they ain't paint a reality as to what is taking place or what is going on now presently, despite the fact that we have a high murder rate. What is going on with the law enforcement? What is going on with the investigative agency within Trinidad and Tobago? What is going on with their credibility, their training, and the functionality of these ministries? This is what we have to ask ourselves all the time. And every year is billions and dollars, billions in our budget. I can't see this thing at all. You know? I can't see it. It's something wrong some way. Something wrong some way. And Candace, I mean, I know how to break this thing down again in us, but something wrong some way. Something wrong.
Because when you listen to Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, you know, he just come on there and he just, you know, powder petting this whole situation, you know. They like they're just sweeping this under the carpet like no big thing. But these are people's lives. This is people's lives they're dealing with. So then what? In order for you to, that case to solve, you have to be some, you know, big minister, child or children that gone missing and they quick on the draw. This is Trinidad and Tobago citizens. This is citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. You all supposed to see after the affairs of this country, the people who voted for all here. All they're supposed to make security is the first thing on the list. Security. And as far as I see, we don't have security in this country. Anything could happen, anything goes, and 7 days, 9 days, 21 days after that, that's it. You may go in a certain institution, you may see a picture post up with one or two people that gone missing. And that is it. They just stress back, well, he missing. He might come back. Well, if he don't come back, well, you know what's going on. But still, people need to hear something. They need to hear something. So we're trying to tell me Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, they're incompetent.
Well, it appears to be so, you know, because from what I seen here, this thing ain't looking good, and the numbers it ain't looking good, in it.
No, it ain't looking good.
Not everybody, not every young girl, as when this issue does be brought in the public domain, not every young girl does run away and go with a man, in it.
No. Not every young girl. It has someone run away and go and take the little man and come back. But what about the ones that never come back? Gone without a trace, not even a ransom. And you know, I just say, all right, even if one of your loved ones gone missing, right, and after a while you didn't hear a ransom, or you know the body turn up dead, although it will grieve your heart, it will grieve you because it's your loved one that died. But at least if you see a body, you know you just get closure. And not even that.
Yeah.
And I want to believe this is bigger than us, the small man on the ground.
It is.
Because where these people go, they just disappear in thin air. It's not to say they leave a remand, they're living in Point, and somebody might bounce them up in Point, you know, they just vanish into thin air. So I want to believe, all right, even if somebody went missing, you will check the airlines to see, well, all right, if they fly out or if they're in another district, nothing.
And that the thing, you know, we have to ask ourselves what mechanism the government have in place for that. What they're doing, what are they doing? Are they checking, according to you, are they checking the airline, the list as to see what's going on? What is the mechanism behind this whole thing? How the functioning with this thing? And there's a story that yeah, Candice.
Go ahead, Mr. Ernst.
No, you go ahead and say what you say, because there's a story that existed in the public domain that I want to make mention to. But go ahead and I will come to that.
Is it that they taking these people for body parts, and they have a certain place when they don't take their body parts, they put them in an incident? I just assume it's something, you know, because they would have no trace of them leaving Trinidad and Tobago. And then you're finding them, yet nobody and turning, well, I will say a body turn up nowhere dead. Is because it's either they shipping them out of the country and using them as sex slaves, or they're selling them to some big rich old man with like little boys and little girls. Something going on. And everybody, those in authority, turning a blind eye to it. And it's about time Trinidad and Tobago wake up. We had to wake up. So when Mr. Fitzgerald Hinds talking about they addressing the crime situation, addressing it how? Addressing it when?
Mm-hmm.
Who in the kitchen does feel the heat, eh? Because I am sure if it was one of his loved ones, they'll have find that person in a snap. What about the young man or the person that they would have apprehended for the human trafficking? We never heard nothing about that after that on the news. There was a man that was... There was a man...
A big story.
Right. There was a man, I read somewhere on either TikTok or somebody sent it from me on WhatsApp, where they locked him up in Venezuela for that same kidnapping thing, and he was sending messages to one of his friends to bring money for him in the jail, and he was saying that he's in real trouble. And that man was a police officer at Trinidad National. We never hear nothing about that after. That just died a natural death. So I want to believe this is a big ring, and this ring start from the top. It's not a small fry in this. The small fries are being used to snatch the people children and bring them to whoever doing the big transaction. You understand me? But this had to stop. This is human life. This our children life all they're dealing with, and all they have to put things in place to secure the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We are not safe.
Ladies
We
and
are
gentlemen,
not safe. And we are crying out to the government for help. And this man come on the TV, they're talking, and boy, I don't understand them, you know. The crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago is the elephant in the room. Murders rampant every day. I travel and I hear people saying they're frightened to go into Port of Spain. They're frightened, they're just running in and running back out. I myself, when I'm in Port of Spain, I just had to pick and choose the taxis I go in because, you know, some of the fellas looking kind of, you know, you're frightened. This person you see junk. Listen to me, eh? First, this thing have me on edge. I was walking down Charlotte Street and I saw a young man running. And if the fear in me, I look back and I start to run too. Only to find out the man running to reach where he going, you know. But just because it's always some stabbing, some shooting in Port of Spain or wherever, it does have you on edge. It does have you on edge because you're going to do your normal business. And bam, you end up in a crossfire, you get your death. Or you have to run and duck from bullets. Where the police? I find it's about time they utilize the Trinidad and Tobago police service a little more.
and the army
Have them
too.
round the clock.
And the
Say again,
army.
sir?
I say
And
and
the
the army.
Yes. A joint patrol, army and soldier, and have them round the clock. All in them rural areas. Especially the hospital. Put up a police force. You understand, man? All hospitals. Because you're seeing where the bandits and them are care now. They're coming to finish their work. Right? In every little district, we have little, you know, we have the little crime. If you can't put up a police force, regular patrols. Regular patrols. Make sure, try to stabilize the country, try to pull back the country a little bit, though we cannot stop the crime, you know, crime can't stop it. Crime is there since before we were even born. But at least we could have a little handle on it. And something I keep saying, you see them body cams, they need to provide every one of the TTPS officers, male or female, with body cams.
Mm-hmm.
They need to provide them with that. They say they'll be stressed out. Well, okay, put things in place so they can go and get a little counseling. Because I mean, this is to deal with, you know,
That,
to deal with
that's
some of them.
sounding more like
thugs,
an excuse than anything else.
No, well, it was an excuse, you know, when I
No,
went with my situation.
For brother saying,
They said
for
that
brother
to
saying
me.
about the body cams now.
Oh, okay.
Or the stressed out.
They're stressed out.
Yeah.
But look, there's a story on YouTube where two officers went into a woman's house. The woman is schizophrenia. And they show the video. The officer took off his body cam, right? And shot the woman 3 times in her face. It's a good thing the other officer that was there, his cam was on and it picked up the whole thing. And the officer that shot the woman in her face, he was trying to say that the woman was coming at him with a pot of boiling water, and the body cam would have shown exactly what took place. So I believe the body cam, here what's going on, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, some of them officers running from the body cam. They're running from this body cam. But if you want to do your work the correct way and protect the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and make an honest dollar, in my book, you should wear your body cam. It ain't protecting just the bandit, you know, it's protecting you too. And it's about time we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, get serious. It's about time the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service get a little more serious with crime. And not only with the bandits, you know, even when an officer breaks the law. It's about time they do something about it.
I think so too.
It's about time.
Yes, it's about time to do something about the crime that is taking place, and especially concerning the topic, the missing persons,
Person,
that something about that must be done in an effective way, because we are actually seeing from this end that nothing really is taking place.
No, you just gone missing. And as I said before, 9 days, 7 days, 9 days, 21 days, they talk about it. And it's gone. Well, thank God for social media. People will keep, reposting their loved ones, reposting it. But nothing's being done, no closure.
And at the same time, I mean, there's a story that is existing within the public domain in which, Candace, I didn't mean to cut it in, but there's a story that existing with a woman where they break down she house with a court matter, and I feel we have to air that clip there. Because I don't like to see people crying. And especially, you take a woman and push her out on the streets, boy. I ain't gonna lie, that thing, when I see that video, it interferes with my psyche. Because I know everybody have a heart in it, but it appears that some people don't have any.
And again, I would have seen that video, and I would have heard the woman say she missed her court date. She didn't go to court. And the magistrate would have passed judgment in her absence. Right? And I find that was a bit harsh. What if something injustice didn't happen to the woman?
I all fine so too. But you see, some of the people didn't see the video in it. What we are going to do here now, we're going to play this whole video, and we will come back on the back end and we go chop this thing up. Because what I see in here, it hurting me. God, man.
The justice system has failed that woman and her children.
Yeah, we're going to play the video here. This thing wrong, boy.
Mother of 8 and her children left homeless by court decision.
There's a lot of corruption in the justice system in Trinidad right now. Right now, criminals being able to do as they feel because they know the laws and the law does back them. Right? The justice system does not protect women and children. They don't protect the innocent. They say they're here to protect and serve, but today I sit down in my property that is mine. I have document for that. Me and my children are homeless now because of our uncle, a step uncle, who decided to take this home from us, and a judge gave him the okay. The police came with him to put us out, right? The police was protecting him. Nobody didn't protect me and my children. Even though when I was here and they was tormenting me, the police never protect me from these people. The police came at him today as he bring an excavator to break down the house, right? And this is justice for Trinidad and Tobago. This is the justice that I get after being a law-abiding citizen, doing my part, keeping my head down. This is what the law did to me. This is what the government and the judge decided that he could put me out of my home because I didn't show up to court. He didn't give me a chance to speak, to explain why I didn't show up to court. He see it fit to put me out with my children because I didn't show up to court. He didn't know what was my situation. He didn't know what we're going through. He decided to do that because he's the judge. He have the power to do that. So I want to ask the judge, the police officers, and even my uncle, where will I go now with these children? And if this is the justice, this is the best Trinidad could do for the justice system. Put a woman and children out on the streets.
In a heart-wrenching turn of events, Crystal Joseph, a mother of 8, 7 of whom she still cares for, was evicted from her home following a court ruling in favour of claimant Rodney Sidney. The decision, handed down by Madam Justice Jacqueline Wilson, has sparked outrage and highlighted the plight of the underprivileged in Trinidad and Tobago's justice system.
I wasn't doing anything to anybody. I am a law-abiding citizen. I don't have a life because I have my children to take care of. So my life is them, and this is where I start my life. This is my home. I inherit this. And somebody could just come and take it from me because the law gave them the authority, because I didn't show up to a court case I know nothing about. And I couldn't speak to explain anything. The lawyers in the courtroom, everything was a mess. and I really want justice.
Crystal Joseph, who had lived on a plot of land in Dades Trace, Rio Claro for the past 8 years, was devastated when Sydney's bulldozer demolished her home on Wednesday, July 23rd. The land had been a familial haven for generations, initially occupied by Joseph's grandmother, then her mother, and finally by her. The concrete foundation and columns, erected by Rodney Sidney and was bought and paid for by Joseph's mother years ago, stood as a testament to their enduring connection to the land.
Rodney Sidney has to be held accountable for this. He did not own this property. He did not build this house. He had put some posts here that he got paid for. And this gone too far. I have been keeping my head down. I walk away. I try my best to try and get, I can't afford to pay lawyers when I had to look for a place to live. I'm doing things I never did before in my whole entire life because they decided that I was too comfortable in my own home. So the judge could pass an order to put you out of your home without asking you a question about why you didn't show up.
The eviction was the culmination of a legal battle in which Joseph did not appear for 2 virtual court hearings, leading to a default judgment in Sydney's favour. The case underscored the digital divide affecting the country's poor, who often lack access to the necessary technology to participate in virtual legal proceedings. Critics argue that the justice system's failure to accommodate these disparities has left vulnerable citizens like Joseph without a voice.
So this was my bed here. I only had 2 beds and I had my stove across the stove and thing across there. I didn't have a place to move this stuff to.
As the bulldozer's engine roared to life, it was met with the anguished cries of Joseph and her children. Their home, their sanctuary, was reduced to rubble. The children, clutching each other amidst the debris, wept as they watched their world collapse around them. The scene was a stark reminder of the human cost of legal and systemic failures. Joseph's 7 children, all of school age, now face an uncertain future. Homelessness threatens their education, stability, and sense of security. The family's belongings scattered among the ruins were a poignant symbol of their sudden descent into destitution. "This country is clearly a failed state," Joseph said through tears. "The justice system has let us down. How can they do this to my children? They have nowhere to go, no school, no home." The land in question was originally a gift from Joseph's uncle, Anthony Guerra, who intended it to be a safe place for her and her children. Rodney Sidney, who is a family member, who claimed the land, had not lived in the area for 48 years and had never completed a house on the plot. His claim rested on the concrete foundation and columns he placed there years ago, but abandoned long before Joseph moved in.
This photo was taken in front of my yard. This guy with the red jersey and the chain in his hand, this is Fred Sidney, my cousin. His father is the one that took me to court for my home. He made a lot of death threats to me. He even threatened to burn my house down. He was convicted and spent 4 years in prison. I made a lot of reports to the Rio Claro police station and nothing was ever done about this. So this is the situation now. I really don't know what they're going to do next because they're stopping at nothing.
Community members also failed Joseph, providing no shelter and support. As people in Trinidad stay away from most issues because of the high crime rate, however, the broader implications of her case resonate with many who see it as indicative of systemic neglect. We hope advocacy groups call for reforms to ensure that the rights of the underprivileged are safeguarded, particularly in legal processes. As the dust settles, the Joseph family faces an uphill battle to rebuild their lives. Their story is a sobering reflection of the justice system's impact on the most vulnerable and a clarion call for change. The cries of Crystal Joseph and her children echo through the streets of Dades Trace, Rio Claro, a stark reminder of the urgent need for compassion and reform in Trinidad and Tobago's institutions. Dave Rodriguez, HCN News.
Now, what you think about this story, Trinidad and Tobago? I am completely lost for words. This thing I mean, it leave a little gap again in my heart. I lost the words, Candice. What you think about that story?
Now, losing a loved one, Mr. Renson, to me, is a reoccurring nightmare. You hear the word I use? A reoccurring nightmare that you would be living with for the rest of your life. Right? Because you don't know, you just simply don't know. The police have no answers to give to you. You yourself would have done all your little investigations to find out what would have taken place, and it's like nobody knows. And look, I'm watching at some of the pictures and some of the names of people that were murdered and was never found. And I could imagine how some of these families are feeling up to today. No closure, no answer. And I would like for some of you all who never would have gone through this type of situation to sit down and think, make this topic here as, a study tonight. Because the way how things going on in our country, it could reach inside your house, not even in front of your door anymore, inside your house. And only then you would understand what some of these people, these family members are feeling tonight. Even the ones that would have found their body and they get closure, but they're still grieving because that is not how they would have wanted their family to go. And for the ones that never gotten closure, they don't know if their family disappear in thin air, if they go up, down, sideways, or across, they don't know nothing. You can imagine how these people feeling. And I would like to call some of the names because, they are gone, but they are not forgotten. And this is what this program is about, to make awareness, to let people know that not because, it happened 15, 20, 30 years ago, it should be swept under the carpet. This is a person's life. Right? So we have Afia Pierre. She was 15 years at the time she went missing. We had Adesh Sipasad, age 6, missing since June 2006. Afia went missing in 2019. Aliyah Celine, age 16, she went missing. She was what? She was 16. She went missing in 2020. And up to now, nothing. You don't know. And what this government doing? What they really doing? What they have in place for things like this? And that's my question tonight. What my government, this Trinidad and Tobago government, have in place for things like this? For your family just gone missing, and that is it.
And at the end,
you could walk the road, you could do vigil lighting, walk the street for peace, and that is still not doing nothing, Those in authority, we have to have stiffer laws, we have to put strategic plans in motion. We have to do something because what really going on in Trinidad and Tobago? What's really going on? People wake up. What really going on? Ask yourself this question. What really going on in our country? What's going on? Those in authority, the ones that is in authority, what are they really doing for us in terms of safety? That is my question tonight. What those in authority doing for us in terms of safety? Because you're not safe nowhere. You're not safe in your home. You're not safe on your job. You're not safe nowhere. Every day is crime. Every day somebody, child missing. And as a parent, It has frightened the daylight out of you. Whenever my children leave home, I just be afraid and praying that they will make it back home. They leave safe and they will make it back home safe. It is a nightmare. We have to face it, Pianti. We all are living a nightmare. And you all wouldn't understand until it reach home. It's when it reach home and it hits you, then you will understand. Let us not wait until it reach home. The government of Trinidad and Tobago, the TDPS, instead that we wait for them to put this strategic plan into process, let us start to take measures for ourselves, secure ourselves.
A brother would have now sent a video to me in response to the video that was now played, and he would have done a breakdown. Well, it's in his own words. So we're going to pop this video here that you could see.
When the court
Breakdown
want this
coming
woman
from
and
the
she
brother.
take children to go by after the destroy she house by,
yeah.
because she missed a court date by, something wrong with the justice system in Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to this video, good.
Have document for that. Me and my children are homeless now because of our uncle, a step uncle, who decided to take this home from us, and a judge gave him the okay. The police came with him to put us out, right? The police was protecting him. Nobody didn't protect me and my children. Even though when I was here and they was tormenting me, the police never protect me from these people. The police came with him today as he bring an excavator to break down the house. Right? And this is justice for Trinidad and Tobago. This is the justice that I get after being a law-abiding citizen, doing my part, keeping my head down. This is what the law did to me. This is what the government and the judge decided that he could put me out of my home because I didn't show up to court. He didn't give me a chance to speak, to explain why I didn't show up to court. He see it fit to put me out with my children because I didn't show up to court. He didn't know what was my situation. He didn't know what we're going through. He decided to do that because he's the judge. He have the power to do that. So I want to ask the judge, the police officers, and even my uncle, where will I go now with these children? And if this is the justice, this is the best Trinidad could do for the justice system. Put a woman and children out on the streets.
In a heart-wrenching turn of events, Crystal Joseph, a mother of 8, 7 of whom she still cares for, was evicted from her home following a court ruling in favour of claimant Rodney Sidney.
Now the brother there would have sent that video for us, and he would have break it down, in his own way. And the part of the video in which I would have seen, he would have highlighted there was the court system. The court system. Candace, I feel today we have to end this program early, because I don't feel I could. What I would have just seen there, I don't feel that I in the right frame of mind as to continue with this thing. No. Hello. Yes, as I say, I mean, I didn't feel any. Candace.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. I feel we are at the end of the program, and I don't feel any correct frame of mind as to continue seeing that video.
Yeah, but this whole topic, Mr. Wilson, is a real sad situation, because this would have taken me back to my issue when my brother went missing 8 to 9 years ago. It's real heart-rending, and it's sad. Up to this day, every time I see his son, it's a spitting image of his father, and it has grieved my heart to know I couldn't find him to bring home to his son. And up to this day, that child is to me say, Auntie, I wish I could just see my father and just hold him and hug him and kiss him. And I just look away and cry, because, it hard. Born without a trace. Born without a trace.
Well, Candace, thanks for your contribution, and we go talk about this, after the program, because I feel this issue need to be brought to light a little more now. They need to be brought to light. This.
And it should. But this is the main issue. This is a main issue. Apart from the murders and the kidnapping, it go hand in hand. And somebody needs to highlight this. We need to highlight this. Where all these people going? I would like to give a word of comfort to all the families that would have lost their loved ones, whether by murder or kidnapping. I would like to tell each and every one of them tonight, I go through my grief because I would have, lost a brother. To keep the faith, continue praying, because the only person we can turn to right about now is God, God is the only person we can turn to for help, for comfort, for healing, for everything. Because I believe the government that we have at the moment has failed us. And they have failed us terribly. So when they're coming on air and they're talking and saying they have crime under control and they have this under control, we the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we are seeing it firsthand. The crime not reaching in front of their door. It is reaching in front of our door. So my words of comfort to you guys is to stay safe. Don't stay out too late. Give yourself a curfew. Secure yourself at home. Secure your family. Even when you're on the streets. Secure yourself. Because you don't know when it's your turn. Not that we wish it, but trouble comes at any side, any time, any day, any hour. Guys, we have to face it. It's a sad situation, but it is a reality.
Well,
it is a reality.
Well, people of Trinidad and Tobago, we are signing off at this point in time, and we will be back on air on Saturday from 7:30 to 9:30
p.m.
p.m. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Pleasant night, everyone. Be safe.
Mike Jessel. But I think for the boy.
Good afternoon, folks. It's the boy Sheldon Khan, and this afternoon we're here with the Workers' Right Challenge. So this afternoon we came to promote our new program, Advocates for Justice, which will be on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. But while we're here in Port of Spain, this is your favorite punch place, right? So we come to get my favorite thing. I go and take either peanut and CMOS or peanut and beetroot. So this is where we buy horsepower in this center. And this is one of the places when we come Port of Spain, we just come. So come and check it out. Punch here, real boys. This is Sheldon Khan of the Workers' Right Challenge, We're going to be starting a new program on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 7:30 to 9:30. But this evening we're here in Port Spain to meet our other co-host Candice, right? So we just did a video with her. Come here and Horsepower take your point to go back on the road. Alright, so I'm gonna have a peanut and beetroot. You're still gonna have a
Peanut, a peanut, a peanut, I got a peanut and beetroot.
Hey, I'm gonna take a peanut and beetroot.
I do.
But I'm gonna take a peanut and see what I'm gonna bring some in here. What's your name, darling? Kira. Kira, I'm gonna make you for food. Just remember, when they come in Portsmouth, they get out of a sponge. Come and try it here. That's up to the cathedral.
But I think for the boy.
This is the peanut and CMOS. And this is the peanut and beetroot. And it's given two small cups. And the remaining cup there is where you have to drink cold. I know it's a little bit now without. When you buy a punch here, it's in this bowl. And whatever in the cup is yours as well. Normally, you just buy a small cup for $5. But I have that kind of capacity.
But I think
I come in here and drink it for a long time, so I just drink one like that. But I still get a small cup.
I don't study and me my own small cup. I drink it out mine just so. But I think for the boy. Horsepower.
Nobody can tell anyone punch like me and Rose. You all over the place, but you know that. But they see you all over the place. Point, Sato, Pinal, Galiota, Port Spain, Flagaramas, Arima, Grandi. Really. Right. Last Kira, by Horsepower. We're on the move again.